Illuminate had a fantastic launch. John Helldiver himself announced the faction to the entire world at the Game Awards show. So many folks logged in and were excited to play against them, and they enjoyed it for a little bit. But after time passed, they realized this faction is not fun to fight. And once it got more additions, folks were hoping that would change. And went from being not fun to fight and overall boring to being annoying to fight. Meatbob, if you somehow hit me through the building, I'm filing a complaint with OSHA. This is my job. You will not... He's doing it! There's 5 major factors that plague the Illuminate. I'll break them down and then provide solutions. But first, do you cook food? Maybe try some 5-clad stainless steel pans from heritagesteel.com. Or potentially have a lifestyle? Maybe creatine electrolytes from ecovision.com. Anywho, on with the video. The core of enjoyment for every faction are the enemies. Are they fun to fight? Among other aspects, but that's the main one. Keeping that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about overseers. You have 3 different types: flying, ground, and crescent. Flying is of particular interest because they have the most mobility out of all enemies in the game. They have the ability to gun you down from distance with essentially the same firing pattern as an MG Raider on automatons. Small dude with an AR. And they can drift around the sky while doing this. Their weak spot is a jetpack. When they're facing away from you, very easy to hit. When they're facing towards you, has of the smallest hitboxes in the game while also being very mobile. Flying guys that I can't... What the... Crescent Overseers can rain energy balls upon you, kind of like the Battle Spears, but thankfully they don't ragdoll. Get too close and they'll go ahead and use that same gun and fire it directly at you, with a slower fire rate. They have a backpack that is intangible. You can't damage it whatsoever. And then there's ground overseers, kitted with an energy shield that can block ballistic shots extremely well, covering everything except for its feet, while approaching you with an energy baton that fires plasma balls and can be swung on you. And if it hits you, you get ragdolled, and you're likely going to die because you can't get up and recover in time before it swings again. Which would be fine, but they all have another issue in common. Their arms block their chest, which ruins an otherwise fantastic weak spot. It has the lowest armor value, going from 2 to 1 recently, making it so light pin does the proper damage to it, but when you're hitting it, you're breaking the ablative armor, which it has all across its body except for its head. This can take damage that otherwise kills plenty of enemies, and the Overseers shrug it off. So you break the chest ablative armor, then the arm ablative armor, and now you're doing damage to the chest and the arm in tandem, making your time to kill twice as long as it should be. Imagine for a moment, you have MG Raiders and Shield Devastators flying in the sky, drifting about and aimbotting you from Narnia, while being chased around by tons of hunters. Then you have Hulk shrunk in size with their visor weak spot removed, equipped with a baton, sprinting after you as if they're Officer Earl from Cloudy Chance of Meatballs and their body cam is turned off. How does that make you feel? Because that's the Illuminate every mission. Next we have Fleshmobs, or as I call them, Meatbobs. It's an abomination formed from a bunch of voteless. These things are hilariously tanky, to the point that a single Eat 17 can't kill it in one shot. There are some guns that do kill it relatively quickly, but that's before factoring in how many can spawn. On the lowest level, you can see 2 in a single POI. These don't have any meaningful weak spot. On higher difficulties, you can see 4 in a single patrol. I walked into the wrong neighborhood one time and there were 7 just chilling. It's an enemy that encourages you to run away, because the weak spots, there's no encouragement of skillful gameplay. There's no aim for the weak spots, get rewarded, which is an archetype that goes great for basically every enemy when it exists in a decent form. As a reference, it has 6,000 HP. Battle Titans have 6,500. The main difference being, Battle Titans don't spawn as much, and they also have a meaningful weak spot. Fleshmobs also severely hinder the use of your sentries, because they're so gosh darn tanky, they just sit there beating on it. You also can't stun them well. If they're charging and or swinging arms, there is no stunning gonna happening. There's no stunning that can happen. Leviathans, colossal sky whales meant to be ignored. They can one-shot you from Narnia using their turrets that are breakable, but they themselves require so much damage, and there's 4, so there's no point in doing that, considering Leviathans are part of a modifier, and they just fly through the air, go into the battlefield, and eventually despawn, and a new one takes its place. There's multiple active at most times, so you're just being bombarded by things you're not meant to kill. And when you do kill them, it tends to be a waste of time. Where's the fun of that? There is 0 Achilles heel on this enemy that is impactful enough to justify the way they're currently structured. The fastest you can kill one is maybe in 5 recoil rifle shots. That's for a single dude. 1 Leviathan. You can break a wing in 2 recoil rifle shots, but it's got 2 wings, and that's again just a single Leviathan. Eventually, most players will grant the dev's wish and simply ignore Leviathans. You join a mission that has blockade active, Leviathans in the sky, leave. Simple as that. Inconsistencies that further make these enemies ridiculous to deal with, mainly for the overseers and also meatbobs. You can have Deadeye that can one tap to the head on flying overseers and basic overseers, but it can miss a shot that is directly on target 20 meters away. I've shown the still frames. I'm talking frame after frame after frame, directly on the forehead. It misses. That makes a weapon that would otherwise not be great against meatbobs or voteless also pretty garbage against the overseers. AMR can one-shot overseers, but there's a broken mechanic about it for the past 8 months, making the ergonomics, handling, or something just feel dreadful. I used it a ton in the past. It has not felt normal for a while. And then factor in the fact that the overseers that fly are insanely mobile. You just feel a little left out. Meatbobs can phase through objects and still hit you. They can be in the stairs to the point that you can't hit them. And if you could hit them, you gotta hit them a lot to kill them because of how tanky they are. We've arrived at the final issue. Mission design. For Capture the Flag, you don't have to clear the objective to raise the flag entirely, which is what makes that mission type so challenging on every other faction. There's also only 1 flag you have to capture. The other objective is just destroying or nuking a single POI, which you can do that lickety-split for every other mission as well. There's just 1 less side objective. So there's simply less to do. And you have far less mission variety. How do we begin to fix this faction? I think we start with meatbobs. It's a very simple fix. You make it so the heads are the weak spot, decrease the potential explosion damage dealt to it so you don't just murk it instantly, but popping the heads on the front and the back will kill it. And that is already a unique design because most enemies are kill it from the front or the back. In this case, you gotta do both for a fast time to kill. Otherwise, just deplete the HP and probably decrease its overall health pool from 6,000 to 3,000. Finesse the numbers. I don't know exactly what it should be, but start somewhere. For the overseers, move their arm away from the chest. Arm to the side. It already happens for the baton overseers, the ground ones that just run at you. Sometimes they run like this. Baton in the hand, arm on the side, and you can go for the chest. You can actually hit the chest. That's what you need to be able to do. Flying overseers, make their jetpack hitbox bigger. You should be able to hit it from the front. That should be a thing. It should not be a tiny little hitbox that I've hit, all right? I can hit it. But trying to do that while being chased down by the armada of freaking armory chat is ridiculous. Make it die faster. I don't know why it has the same HP as every other Overseer variant, but it's the deadliest and most mobile unit on the entire faction. And for Crescent Overseers, their backpack doesn't exist, so maybe give them one, and same deal, make it so you can hit from the front, blow it up, weak spot, hooray. And arms, same deal. Like, they don't have to sit there and... They can just one-hand the cannon. That looks cooler to begin with. Leviathans. Give them an Achilles heel, a spot you can hit with a recoilless rifle and 1-shot or 2-shot, but make it somewhat challenging. And yeah, I think 1-shot makes sense. Also, decrease the damage they deal with turrets. They shouldn't be 1-shotting you. I know that they're a big enemy, they do a lot of damage, but getting 1-shot sucks. It is what it is. 1-shots should be reserved for things that take a while to target you, like a tank tower, for instance. Those 1-shotting you make sense because they're slow, they're pretty tall, and they're noticeable if you're paying some attention. Leviathans are different because they move. You know what I mean? And for the inconsistencies, well, we gotta maybe address them a little bit. We gotta maybe be aware of them. I don't think that Deadeye has any talk or discussion about it. AMR, I think, is in the known issues, but it hasn't been fixed in months. So hopefully that happens sometime or another. And also, potentially just make it so we can move and hit shots better. Just a little bit. Just a smidge. Sway's getting a little out of hand, methinks, based on the increase in pace of gameplay for every faction. Patrols got changed recently. And I mean recently. It is August 2025. August 19th, 2025. They got increased in a very recent patch, which is great for automatons. Other factions, it depends. And finally, for mission design, add more missions and just don't take away from side objectives. I don't know why that's happening to begin with. Maybe it's just because they have a similar layout for all the missions in terms of having a city and not city, but the missions have to have more going on. And that's how you make Illuminate more fun. Is just give people better agency when they're facing an enemy and make the enemies fun to fight and take down. Learning weak spots is such a core aspect of Helldivers 2. And to ignore that and make enemies that intentionally don't have them is 100% ludicrous to me. I cannot believe that that was ever a thought, and they did it twice. Meatbobs and Leviathans. Like, that's tilting, brother. Seriously. Because stingrays are fun. They're deadly, but fun. Harvesters. I didn't even talk about harvesters much in all this video, but those guys are sick. When you get like 7 harvesters spawning, I don't go, oh my god, this is ridiculous, I can't kill them. I can kill them. There's so many ways to kill them. You can use a light pin variable, light pin gun variable, and one tap to the blue eye. And that's skillful, it's rewarding, it feels fantastic. Like, I have a blast doing that. And then you insert meatbobs, and you're just falling asleep. How do you get people hyped to play a game whenever that's the discrepancy? What's cooler? You have an enemy that if you hit shots, if you're skillful, if you learn, if you progress, you can kill them fast. You have an enemy that you can be all those things as well, but it doesn't change anything. And the guns that can kill it quickly are like far and few in between. And plus, I don't want to be pigeonholed into using those guns. That's lame. It's lame to have less options to kill certain enemies. Ones that are being spammed at you, it is lame to have less options to kill them. That is the way it's going to be probably until the end of time for games. A member of Arrowhead's target audience had this to say about folks not liking the Illuminate that much. Here we go again with the Illuminate complaints. Have you tried playing the team game as a team? Have you tried to tailor your loadout to the Illuminate? Have you played the game? Let me break it down for you. Riveting stuff on the way for sure. Use gas or some way to stun large groups or kill them. That's called crowd control. Use team play. Notice how you can assist players with heavy weaponry. You can speed up the Leviathan's death if you help or also shoot it. Ah yes, let's go ahead and shoot down Leviathans, wasting our time, and have more spawn endlessly. Top-notch stuff. Played the game before. Maybe stop letting the Watchers spawn enemies and realize that not every fight needs to be fought. For sure. Everyone loves getting less kills in matches, so go ahead and just stop any dropships from happening, because who wants to sit there and mow down the enemies of democracy? Most folks are playing the game to win missions and not actually enjoy it. Also, top-notch advice. Sometimes 8 Fleshmobs will eat your ammo. Maybe, instead of complaining, don't fight every group of enemies. Just ignore the 8 Fleshmobs on the objective and walk away. Who cares about winning the mission? Bad at ammo conservation? Again, stop fighting everything. But have you tried better stratagems? Maybe quicker cooldowns like, I don't know, the gas strike for a stun and crowd control. It does crowd control. It doesn't stun. It confuses them. Maybe a sentry to save ammo. There's only 2 good sentries versus Illuminate, which is going to be the Gatling for sure, and the machine gun kind of. And the main reason why there's not other great options is due to Fleshmobs and also Leviathans if you have the modifier active. They'll shoot. Well, Fleshmobs can't be stunned when they're already attacking or charging or something. Take a bunch of HP to be taken down. Leviathans will target sentries from Narnia, and you cannot kill them quickly enough to prevent them from destroying your sentries. Sorry, you guys can't just use your close rifle on everything with light armor and pull a big W in the chat and actually have to play the game in a strategic way. The issue is that folks want to have a fun time playing the game, and all you gave them are options that aren't even fun. And half of it wasn't even useful information. Fire is better than gas for Illuminate by a landslide. Gas strike is not that good against Illuminate, honestly in general. So why would you even suggest that? And shooting Leviathans down to win a mission strategically is the goofiest thing you could do. It's a waste of your time. They spawn endlessly. Avoid the modifier if you don't like Leviathans. That's the honest truth. And if you like Leviathans, have fun wasting time shooting them down. If you're trying to win a mission, like if you enjoy it, go crazy. But why are people so confidently ignorant? And this is 100% the target audience for Arrowhead. And that irks me to my core. Because what these folks do, they think about nothing, say everything, zero concept of context, 100% use of exaggeration and hyperbole. I don't like Illuminate that much. It's because you're not playing the game as a team and you're not winning missions. I can solo the faction. It's because they suck. That's why I don't like them. That's why I can't stand it. People will always try and find a reason instead of listening to what you're actually saying. If I say, I don't like Illuminate, then folks might say, it's because you solo it, bro. Play as a team. I do play as a team all the time. Nothing changes that Illuminate are not well designed, especially not being in a 4-man group, which has its own issues of showing you that the game is not challenging based on the scaling. And speaking of which, it's funny they never mentioned lowering difficulty. That is always the scapegoat answer that folks bring up when you have an issue with a faction. In this faction's case, lower difficulty level 5, you can still get Leviathan blockades. Lower it to level 2, even 1, you'll still get Fleshmobs. No matter what you do, you'll still have the glaring issues of the faction in your face. So all I'm saying is that Helldivers, you have got to know what folks like about your game. Go into it more than you are currently. I know you have your own designs and desires for the game, which I think are scuffed. Like the Grunt Fantasy, kind of garbage. But you got to level with the players a little bit. Just a little bit. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a good day.